Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this summer camp hosted by TAP, part of TheTeacherApp Foundation. Today's session is going to be a thought-provoking discussion on evolving landscape of life skills in India, and especially in the education sector. I would love to welcome our panelists who will be sharing their thoughts on this topic. So the session will be directed in such a way that we will be asking questions to each one of the panelists, and then we will open the floor to everybody. I will introduce myself. I am Samine. I look after the Knowledge Management Department at TheTeacherApp Foundation. Welcome, all of you. I would like to be the first one to introduce and welcome our dear honored guest, Ms. Maya Menon, the founding director of the Teacher Foundation, a leading voice in the field of education. Ms. Menon has been instrumental in shaping teacher development programs across the country with a strong focus on empowering educators through reflective practices and inclusive approaches. Along with her is Dr. Guni Jatin. Dr. Jatin is an associate professor at Tata Institute of Social Sciences. She brings with her a wealth of experience in teacher education and curricular studies. Her research and academic leadership have greatly contributed to the discourse of equity and quality in education, a very, very important topic. We have with us Ms. Mamta Sati. She is the principal of the MCD School, Joshi Road, New Delhi. A committed educator and school leader, Ms. Sati is known for her hands-on approach and for fostering an environment where both teachers and students thrive. Along with her is Ms. Bindu Singh. We are delighted to have her join us. She is the Principal Director at Radiance International School, Lucknow. With her visionary leadership and deep commitment to holistic education, she has played a pivotal role in setting high standards for students' learning and well-being, and their well-being. We have with us Ms. Ranjita Kor. She is the Principal of Satyabharati Adarsh Senior Secondary School, Fattavilla. Ms. Kaur's dedication to rural education and her focus on inclusive school practices has made a significant impact in the community she serves. And what is a session where we do not get to hear voices of the people we are talking about? So please allow me to welcome the voice from our students, Ms. Kashid Kor, a bright and articulate 12th grade student from Satyabharati Adarsh Senior Secondary School, Fattavilla. Her insights and lived experience will add a perspective to our discussion today. All right, so I'm going to start the discussion by getting Ms. Menon's thoughts. What trends or gaps are you observing in how schools are integrating life skills currently? If you could unmute yourself, ma'am, and please answer. Okay, I'm sorry, Ms. Menon, if you can't, can you hear us? Am I audible to everybody? If you could just give me a thumbs up. All right, great. Okay, so Ms. Menon, I don't think
sorry,
her audio
I couldn't hear you. No,
okay.
No, sorry, I couldn't hear you clearly earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I'll just repeat my question. So what we are talking about is what trends or gaps are you observing in how schools are integrating life skills into their curriculum?
Okay, yeah. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. It's lovely to be back. I was there on Monday, and this is the culminating event of the Life Skills Fest. Thank you, Samina. I think that there are a lot of positive trends in education today in India. One is, of course, the growing emphasis on holistic education. Both CBSE, ICSE, the state boards are including life skills curricula and post-scholastic and value education curricula into the school education system. Of course, this began because of the National Education Policy of 2020, which gave a sort of thrust and push to initiatives connected with skill-based learning, encouraging schools to integrate social emotional learning, creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, etc. Apart from that, NEP has also been focusing on the importance of and emphasizing the importance of social emotional learning, mental health, particularly post-pandemic. Many schools are incorporating, particularly private schools, and I hope this will be a big thrust area for our government schools and public schools.
We lost your voice, ma'am.
Could you hear me?
Yes, it's better now. Thank you.
I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
There is also use of experiential learning. That's another big trend. There is regular talk about schools moving towards project-based, peer-led experiential models to teach collaboration, critical thinking, and decision-making. Samina, can you hear me?
Yes, we can,
I'm
ma'am.
getting a lot of feedback on this. That's why.
We can hear you, ma'am. Please continue. Okay, now you are inaudible. You are inaudible, ma'am.
Okay, you can hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, I know. So sorry, there's some sort of problem. So there is a big trust even from EdTech to look at life skills education. NGOs, even the Teacher app is an EdTech platform to look at having life skills resources on the app for interactive learning, training, and so on. So these are good initiatives. These are positive initiatives. However, there are some gaps and challenges also. I think one important thing is that while the policy states something, what is actually practiced and implemented on a daily basis in our schools and classrooms leaves much to be desired. The focus continues to be on theoretical knowledge, theoretical content rather than practical. Many schools tend to use it as just a sort of a checkbox activity. Okay, we've done life skills education. Apart from that, teacher training deficits are tremendous. The fact that many teachers have not been supported to develop their own life skills apart from then developing skills to impart life skills education. So that's another big focus area we need to look at. Urban-rural divide. The urban, especially urban elite schools, are way ahead, years ahead compared to our rural schools, especially the government schools. So that's another big gap that we have to bridge. And then we have to look at assessment. How are we assessing students? The Life Skills Collaborative, which the Teacher Foundation has been part of, has been looking at developing assessment tools to assess both social emotional well-being as well as skills like critical thinking, collaboration, entrepreneurship skills, employment skills, etc. Apart from that, some of the other gaps that exist, I would say, would be gender social biases. I don't know if all our different regions in our country are adequately oriented to the importance of life skills across genders and across any socio-economic strata of people. We continue to have life skills is continue to be accessible for schools that are elite, schools that are in urban cities. We have to make life skills accessible to government schools. It's wonderful that we have a young student here, and I'm really looking forward to hearing her speak, because they have to handle and resistance both from home as well as society. Parental resistance sometimes can be a factor also in terms of a gap and challenge, because some parents are not adequately informed to know that life skills needs to be given as much importance as academic learning. So parents still tend to view life skills as a distraction from real academics, which is really the bread and butter of education. And pressurizing schools to perhaps emphasize on rote learning, continuing to emphasize on rote learning when NEP talks about experiential learning, critical thinking, problem solving, etc. So I'm going to stop here. So I've sort of shared what are the positive trends, but also big gaping gaps that we have in our schools and education system. Over to you, Samina.
Thank you. Thank you, Menon. Thank you, Maya. That was really, really interesting. And a lot of points I've already taken. So next I would like a question for Dr. Gomti Jatin. How do you feel that NGOs and school collaboratives can, collaborate better for a future-proof life skills education? So just like Dr. Menon was just talking about how, you have this gap between what the policy is saying, what is actually happening. So how can we make it future proof and make sure that life skills do not get sidelined or do not become a tick box and they actually happen? So over to you, ma'am. You're on mute.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Samine, and good evening, everyone here. Ms. Maya has already set the context. So yes, it's more focused, schools are more focused on theoretical, and there are a lot of gaps and parental resistance. Now here, when you're talking of NGOs and collaborating with the schools, we know that life skills is a foundation and schools do aim to provide holistic education. And NGOs definitely bring in some kind of innovation, contextual experiences, and so on. But unfortunately, when these kind of collaborations come, what happens is the NGO comes, they implement their what do you say, the content, and they give a lot of innovation, and slowly they withdraw. And schools are expected to retain it and sustain it and practice it. This kind of approach is something which leads to a kind of failure. Rarely it works in a long-term process. So these kind of collaborations usually need some kind of shift. Like when we talk of NGOs, we look at them as visitors to the school, but more they need to be partners, right? They need to be embedded in the life of the school. They have to be in the life of the school, in not just in terms of physical, but in terms of psychological and emotional. So the schools need to look at them not as visitors, but as partnerships, right? They need to have some kind of partnerships, and they need to have a shared purpose rather than going on parallel tracks. NGO having a vision, school having a timetable, something in the timetable saying, okay, life skills. So this is again something looking at life skills in isolation, where the NGOs come in, do their work in those particular periods and slots, and then just leave. So this is where we need to look at a kind of shared purpose where the NGOs goal and the school's goal align. It's not just about timetabling, but it's about a shared vision, shared purpose as to what are life skills, why are we giving these kind of life skills, what is resilience, why do we need to give it to students, how do we need to give it to students. So if NGOs and schools align together on these goals, definitely there will be some kind of shift in terms of achieving what we are set to achieve in terms of life skills. And again, there is always a one-way training. So NGOs come in thinking that they are delivering something and teachers are receiving, right? So teachers are at the receiving end, NGOs are at the giving end. Somewhere I think teachers are also experts in pedagogy and the context. NGO comes with some kind of content. So I think a kind of two-way professional development in terms of sharing rather than coming and giving and receiving is something, a kind of shift that I personally look at because I have visited schools, we have had a lot of partnership with schools, and we do see NGOs come as visitors and these kind of goals are not aligned. So, and life skills, as Ms. Maya pointed, it's a very important component. It is not a subject, it's a lifestyle, right? And it's something, it's a culture. And this kind of culture has to be developed. It has to be established in the schools. And lastly, I would like to talk about, it's not just about delivering content or the context, but it's more about assessment. What is the kind of evaluation? How are we evaluating it? Is it just the scores? So schools look at the evaluation of life skills different from what NGOs look at. So there has to be some kind of shift in the terms of evaluation, co-assessment, how one has a shared language, shared way of assessment, shared way of professional development, shared trainings, listening to each other. So the evaluation component also has to somewhere has a strong shift in terms of evaluation to co-assessment. So this is where the kind of collaboration that you look at, the landscape of collaboration itself, something that needs a greater shift in terms of mindsets, in terms of looking at it, the lens that we use to look at this kind of collaborations. So these collaborations are something which are built on trust, which are built on listening. Listening builds trust, and trust leads to what we can achieve, in a long term, sustainable, basically. So yeah, this is what I look at NGO-school collaboration. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Shami. Yeah.
Thanks a lot. I think the key words that really stuck with me were that you were talking about a collaborative vision. It's not something that you come in, do an activity and go out. You're talking about a vision, you're talking about a culture. And that culture will include everything from the process to the content to the evaluation. So it's like a whole gambit, and we have to work as partners. So we have to learn from them as well as teach them like side by side. Great points, ma'am. Next, I would like Ms. Sati to give her opinion. So we're going to talk about early years of schooling. And life skills often emerge through play, stories, and everyday interactions. How do you see government schools nurturing life skills in primary grades? And what more can be done to strengthen this foundational aspect, especially in areas where resources are limited, especially for government schools? Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah. First of all, सभी को नमस्कार. Yeah, life skills 4 दिन से ये बड़ा अच्छा एक फेस्ट चल रहा है और जीवन कौशल जिसे हम समझते हैं, उसके लिए भी प्राइमरी किड्स और उसके साथ साथ गवर्नमेंट स्कूल बहुत ही चैलेंजिंग काम है ये. लाइफ स्किल्स मीन्स इक्विपिंग किड्स with the abilities to navigate them, to learn all the things in their life. And primary kids, my school is a primary school, they are just a blank slate, Cory slate. They always mimic the teachers. Whatever we are teaching them, whatever they are learning here and there, they just want to copy it. This is the foundational stage. So all the life skills we try to inculcate in them. First of all means communication. It is the first most required. When the child is entering in the school, good relationship and the relationship with the teacher and creating the trust between the child and the teachers, it is the requirement of this foundation stage. And the children are also have a desire to make new friends, feeling of self-recognition. And apart from them, all the life skills, as Mayaji has said, critical thinking, all are activity-based, experiential learnings, and inquiry-driven, all the things, all the projects, all the group activities, they are learning with the help of each other. We have peer groups, even we have the peer groups of parents also to inculcate the life skills in them. एंड माया जी ने जैसे अभी बताया कि एक बहुत बड़ा गैप और एक चैलेंजिंग है कि पेरेंट्स रेजिस्टेंस बहुत मुश्किल है उनको समझाना और उनको मनाना कि दिस इज द रिक्वायरमेंट, दिस इज नॉट आउट ऑफ द सिलेबस. And all the focus on social emotional learning also. We try to make them self-aware, how to keep themselves clean, self-hygiene, promote self-hygiene. This is the basic thing. I don't promote all the formal education. My main object is to create civic sense in them. If the child is aware how to take the food, how to do after coming to toilet, all the emotional adult language, co-curricular activities, and all the empathetic conditions. So these are some life skills we try to inculcate. And we try to arrange for some health care, for their hygiene, for their other health, I can say, जितनी भी उनकी हेल्थ से लिमिटेड जो वर्कशॉप्स है हेल्थ से रिगार्डिंग, जो सेल्फ केयर है, टाइम मैनेजमेंट, मनी मैनेजमेंट, इवन डिजिटल लिटरेसी ऑल्सो. सो पेरेंट्स के लिए भी हम वर्कशॉप अरेंज करते हैं जिसके अंदर ये सारी चीज़ें हम पेरेंट्स को भी सिखाना चाहते हैं, क्योंकि ये लाइफ स्किल केवल बच्चों के लिए नहीं, हमारे टीचर्स के लिए भी और हमारे पेरेंट्स के लिए भी बहुत ज़रूरी है. और दूसरी बात, आपने जो दूसरा क्वेश्चन आपने लिया है कि जहाँ पर रिसोर्सेज रेस्ट्रेंट, जहाँ पर हमारा एटमॉस्फेयर होता है, रियली वेरी वेरी क्रिटिकल एंड वेरी क्रूशियल हाउ टू डू इट, हाउ टू मेक ऑल द एक्टिविटीज इन अ प्ले वे मेथड. जब पेरेंट्स स्कूल में आकर देखते हैं कि हर समय बच्चे खेल ही रहे हैं, तो ये चीज़ समझाना बहुत बड़ा मुश्किल होता है. ये एक बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज होता है उनके साथ. इतनी सारी कोकरल एक्टिविटीज होती हैं, इतने सारे चैलेंजेस, इतने सारे बैरियर्स होते हैं. और जब मेन थिंग आती है हमारी की लैंग्वेज इज ऑल्सो ए बैरियर फॉर लाइफ स्किल्स. सो बहुत सारी एक्टिविटी हमको उन्हीं की लैंग्वेज में करानी पड़ती हैं। ये एक बड़ा चैलेंज आता है हमारे साथ। उसके साथ इंटरेक्टिव सेशंस होते हैं। कई बार बच्चे ना तो हमें समझ पा रहे हैं, ना पेरेंट्स हमको समझ पा रहे हैं, ना बच्चा हमें समझ पा रहा है। तो ये सारी चीज़ों से मुझे लगता है कि लाइफ स्किल गवर्नमेंट स्कूल के अंदर जहाँ थोड़े से रिसोर्सेज कम है, मैं ये भी नहीं कहूँगी कि बहुत कम है, थोड़े से कम है, तो हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं। और आपका जो फेस्ट, हम इससे हमें बहुत अच्छी नॉलेज मिल रही है, मेरे टीचर्स को, पेरेंट्स को। तो इस तरह से हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि लाइफ स्किल्स को गवर्नमेंट स्कूल में और अच्छे से हम लागू करा पाए। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Thank you, ma'am. I really liked your points where you're talking about how parents also need to be part of
Yes.
these learnings, and the child is like a sponge. They will be mimicking everything that the teachers are doing. So teachers also need to be on that same level. It makes perfect sense. Ranjita, next question to you. You are positioned somewhere between government and a private system because you are in a PPP model phased school. So how would you balance expectations and resources to foster life skills in your school? And what support systems make a real difference in the adoption of life skills in your school?
First of all, Jai Hind, everyone. To this, I would like to answer, ma'am. Since we are positioned between government and private models, we continuously strive to strike a balance between the high expectations and limited resources. Because the expectations are obviously very high for life skills and limited resources are obviously there. And as Gomti ma'am has said, I was listening to that we have to make it a lifestyle. It is not to be a separate subject or a curriculum that is to be there, but it has to be designed in the lifestyle of the children. So we have all the innovative and student-centered approaches in life skills education in our school, which has become a natural part of our school culture. Now, one of our key strengths that is there that we promote the student leadership in the school. Right from the arrival to the dispersal, the school governance is all taken care by the children only. Let me tell you that the school is divided in 4 houses. So all the 4 houses, the children have got their duties. So during the arrival time and during the dispersal time, the students, they are giving the duties to maintain the discipline and for everything that is to be taken care of while the children are coming from the buses to the classrooms, and how they are means coming to the classes till the time the teachers are approaching the classes and all that. So it is all taken care by the children. Then if we go to the morning assembly, every day a new class gets the chance to lead the assembly. So in a way, every child in the school gets somehow to lead the stage that day. So there are many activities in the assembly also. Thought for the days are spoken. If there is some special day, then we deliver the children about that thing also. So every day a new class gets the opportunity to take over the assembly. Then we have school Swachhta and Hygiene Education Initiative, SSHEI, in the school. There is a committee of children which take care of the complete health and hygiene of the school. There also the students, they get a platform to take care of the hygiene and health of the complete school. Then coming to, we have one monthly leadership performer in which every class has the class prefects and different kind of monitors in the class, which take care of their individual classrooms, that my classroom is all set to have a conducive teaching and learning. They take care of even small things also. While going out of the class, they know that they have to switch off the lights, switch off the fans, so that the electricity is also not wasted. So I'm telling you all the things that we have inculcated in the children. This is coming in their lifestyle now, and they are taking care of all these minute things in their daily classrooms. In turn, they are learning the life skills, which they are not taking as burden. अनजाने में कब वो इन चीजों को सीख जा रहे हैं वो पता ही नहीं लग रहा. Then we have the student council in the school. So whenever we have any visitor in the school or there is any kind of a delegate in the school, the students, they take the complete responsibility of taking the visitors throughout the school, and they tell about the infrastructure, the policies of the school, and how we work in the school culture and everything. So it is all taken care by the students only. Then we have the co-scholastic activities along with these scholastic activities, and monthly we give them each life skill to work on for a month. When the session was about to start, एक ट्रेन जा रही थी जिसमें बड़े सारे लाइफ स्किल्स लिखे हुए भी आ रहे थे, एम्पैथी, प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग, एडेप्टेबिलिटी, क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग. वो सारा हम हर मंथ जो है एक एक टॉपिक उसका पिक करते हैं, एंड द कंप्लीट मंथ teachers, their teachings and everything revolves around that. So in turn, again, they are learning how to cope up with the daily stress and the emotional managements and everything. Then we have some clubs in the school, the art and literary club, sports club, eco club, STEM and innovation club, photography club. So what happens whenever we have the functions in the school, these functions, these events are conducted by the children themselves. So the cultural club has the authority to take care of the participation of the children, which class is going to participate for which event and all that. Then the cultural club is going to take care of the all the decoration of the stage and all. Photography club will click the photographs and nice videos which we showcase on the social media also. So in a way, they are learning some kind of these skills also. Now, as the summer break is approaching, in this summer break, we have the Saksharta Bharati Abhiyan also. So in which the children, they engage themselves teaching the elderly people or the people who do not know how to read and write. So this is again a good leadership platform, that is opportunity that they are getting. ये सब करके भी मतलब they feel very good, and after a month when they come to school, then they invite those elderly people to the school and we assess what the children have taught them. So this is something that is very nice. And then we go for school enterprise challenge also. We participate in that also, in which the children, they as per their talents, they make certain things. Previous years we prepared some pickles or the chutneys. This year we had some hair bands and all made from the waste materials and all, purses made out of the waste jeans material and all. Now after that, the children, they were taught how to sell these items. So in a way, they are learning the sale, purchase and marketing through school enterprise challenge. We have designed for change, through which they can bring some change in the society. We have bagless days also, where we teach financial literacy, in which they get to know about the budgeting, saving, investments, and financial goal settings also. We have Bal Sabhas during the bagless days, in which they can showcase their talent, and through role plays and group discussions, again, they can chisel their inner talent also. And while now, if I come to the teachers now, teachers, they are not just the facilitators or the subject teachers in our school. They guide the children and give them opportunities to explore themselves. And even we train the teachers over these things. We have capacity building workshops and continuous training for the educators in our school, where they take the life skills across all the subjects. In fact, the parent involvement is also there. We have parent volunteers also who help us in student growth. Now, finally, I would like to say our approach to life skill education is rooted in purposeful planning, a nurturing environment, and empowered students who are prepared not just for exams, but for life. Thank you.
Thank you, Ranjita. That was really interesting. So if I could sum it up in a sentence, I would say that you have actually just kind of adhere to what Ms. Menon was talking about, experiential learning. You know, these children are experiencing it's content into action, and that's what's happening in these schools. Great to hear that. Next, I would like Ms. Singh to tell us, in your experience, how are is she there? Yeah. So, in your experience, how are life skills being intentionally embedded into the school's curriculum and co-curricular frameworks? And what challenges do you face in sustaining it amongst all this pressure for an academic result? So, how do you weave it in such a way that the pressure gets a little less? Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Samine, and good evening to everyone. I hope I'm audible. Yeah, great. So I really believe that we have to embed the life skills into academic and co-curricular framework. And in fact, life skill is something which begins from a very early stage in a child, even from a baby stage, because life skill is not something you can teach in a structure and just in a school. It's a combination of what's happening at home, in the community, and in the school, all three. And that's how you prepare a student or a child who's in your care in the school, so that they are confident and their emotional quotients are high and they can be prepared for many challenges of life. Of course, school has a huge onus on them to do it, and it has to be deliberate, structured, because school has a timetable also to follow, and it has large number of students as well. So co-curricular activities, of course, as earlier panelists have also talked about, that they have an important role to play. So whether children are playing sports or they have various clubs, so they interact with students of different classes, different age groups in competition, they lose, they win, and some leadership initiatives, they show their skills over there, whether they can move up the ladder of leadership. And of course, there's so many projects which happen in all schools. So those projects are also an important part, because as they come together in smaller groups with peers, and how they understand each other and how to be more confident about themselves and patient with others, because life skill is a lot of social emotional skills that they have to, apart from other. So emotional intelligence is a very important part here, and time management, because as we see people who finish school, then some of them are not really well adjusted in life, and that is not because they are not intelligent or they are not hardworking, or any of the things are lacking in the academics. It's because somewhere the life skills have not played a very important role. So as we all of us have focused on it, and there's also a student council which leads the initiatives. And we have in our school student council which plans, budgets, and conducts different activities that we had through the clubs and houses. I need not go into details. My fellow panelists have talked about it a lot. So here the focus is to understand how they want to move forward in that ladder, and how the teachers can assist them. Of course, I'll be talking about the challenges in a while. So social emotional learning has to happen at every level, from the lowest level, whether it's a pre-primary, going up to primary, the middle, and the senior, as the child grows up, maturity level, and what they are finding. Self-awareness turns out to be a very important part of life skill, because as a child is more aware of himself or self, I want to say ours is a girls' school, mainly more a lot of girls over there. So self-awareness is a very important part of the personality, empathy, and another thing is conflict resolution, crisis management. So these we find even in adults, sometimes people lack in these qualities, and how they can move forward, whether it is on their own or whether as a team they can do. So here I feel pastoral care. Pastoral care means here, we'll just explain a bit, that pastoral care is a team of teachers who assist the children, hand holding, help them out to move forward, and with the other staff that is available over there to reach the goals through the classroom experiences, or participation in various varied activities that they have. Life skills can't be just taught in isolation here, and they have to be deeply embedded in every part of the student life, every subject it has to be part of. Whether you're talking of geography, whether you're talking of sciences, whether you're talking of languages, even if when children are learning about a poetry, there's some life skill to be picked up from there. Whether it's in a Hindi language, English language, or whichever other languages we are doing. So it has to happen not just in the classroom, outside the classroom, whether they are in the library, whether they are moving around during their snack break, or they are moving outside the school, going somewhere. So there are n number of things. So life skill is an integral part, and I'm happy that we are doing this webinar, because life skill is turning out to be more important than what we are learning as academic learning in the classrooms, because that depends on a person's learning capability. But life skill depends on how you adjust in life with yourself, with your fellow beings, with the environment. What is the empathy level that you have? And this is a huge challenge for the school as well. Now, if I may talk about some of the challenges that happen, of course, we paint a rosy picture, and many panelists have also talked about these challenges, because there's a lot of demand for academic performance, high performance, getting 90%, 99% marks, those kind of things. And there's also standardized testing. So it's very difficult to assess a life skill in a child who's not doing too well in academics, but the child may have certain qualities which brings out a lot of strength and emotion in a child. So these things have to be taken. And then, of course, there's a lot of pressure from parents, from community, from the managements in school, assessment bodies. In this case, the different affiliation boards are also there. There are time constraints, the policy frameworks which are there. And they have to be, there's also a lot of focus on measurable academic outcomes, what children can do, what they can't do, which limits the time for life skills which is available. And life skills are important for holistic development. This is totally undeniable. So another challenge is very important in the classroom is teachers are sometimes they're very enthusiastic about life skills, but they feel very constrained by packed syllabus. I mean, they have to complete what they have to, and there's a tight timeline to finish, whether it's a diagnostic test or whether it is a term exam that's coming up. And then, of course, trainings of the staff. And we talked about it very briefly also. Some of the panelists have talked about it earlier. The training, the support of the staff, and also resources available across the schools for these life skills to be implemented in an effective way. And there's a challenge of all our stakeholders' perception, how they see life. They see it secondary to academics. So, as many people said, the parents are not queued up, or they don't pay too much attention to it. So, if I'm talking about myself, as a leader, my role is continuously to communicate to the stakeholders, parents, students, teachers, communities, managements, how important these skills are for successful life, how they can, and how they can contribute to a long-term success. And there are a lot of examples of children who've done excellent in academics, but somehow they could not perform in life very well. And due to there's an imbalance of life skills sometimes, it's not being negative, but we don't want to emphasize the importance of life skills. But despite these challenges, I'm sure we academicians, we remain focused on aligning these skills with the curriculum outcome. We try our best because schools are the nurseries where children are nurtured and they grow up and they reach a point in life where they can take the life head on. And our job is to ensure that we prepare them for it. So whether we are fostering a school culture where personal growth of every child is important for us, as much as the scores, the marks in the examination, which would be important. So for me, this remains a constant challenge, but we constantly rise to this challenge, and we constantly have these sessions for parents as well. Some parents, and mind you, gradually parents are coming around and beginning to understand, but to make it to be a very, very high scoring and the level, we have a lot of ground to cover and a lot more to work towards it. And of course, I don't want to repeat what my panelists have said, but life skill is life itself and prepare people for it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Those were very, very interesting points. And like you very rightly said, you're talking about adjustment with fellow human beings. I mean, that's the core of it all, is that how well is the human, how well is the student adjusting with whatever life throws at them, whether it's good marks or bad marks, how are they able to deal with it is what is life skills. And that's beautifully put. So now I would like one of our students to talk to us and tell us what she thinks. So Kushdeep, I want to ask you one question. Can you share a moment from school where you had to use one of these life skills? Could be problem solving, empathy, decision making, anything. What helped you develop that skill? And what more do you wish you could have been given as support? So anything else that you would like to add, you can please go ahead.
Jai Hind, good evening, everyone. Thank you for the question, ma'am. During this year's inter-house competition, I experienced a situation where I had to apply the important life skills. Just before a group performance, two of our members got into the conflict. And now it's my responsibility to take care of them. I bring them together as a head girl. I took the responsibility of both the teams. I calmly listen to them, understand their concerns, and bring them together. With the empathy and quick decision making process, I resolve the issue and they get the strong performance. And this moment showed me that how important life skills are in the real life situations. I truly appreciate that our school gave us so many opportunities to learn beyond the classrooms through competitions and leadership roles. These experiences have helped me to grow personally and support others too. At the same time, I believe we can take this learning even further by organizing regular life skill workshops on the topic like the conflict resolution, stress management, and communication. Peer mentoring between the seniors and juniors can also be very helpful. Role plays and real life simulations would also give students the chance to build these skills. At last, life skill is not just about winning the competition, it's about building strong, kind, and confident individuals. And with the right support, our school can continue to shape not just the successful students but also better human beings. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Kushdeep. That was really, really interesting to hear. And I think Ranjita, you have some work cut out for you. Your school students want more on empathy, problem solving, and peer learning sessions. So you'll have to organize those. This is really interesting. So just to sum it all up, all that we have been discussing so far, I think we are all on the same page. We are all talking about how important it is, how essential it is. It has to be part of our curriculum, both academic and non-academic, and it has to be part of everyday learning, which is excellent. Now, I have a question for all the panelists, and anybody can start. So, if you could design an ideal school day with life skills being at its core, what would it look like? And what is that one practical change that you think you can begin with right now? So if Ms. Menon, if you want to start, then we can just get the ball rolling.
Sure. Sure. So that's a tough question, Samine. One thing that'll change. I think there has to be, I think what we heard from Kashdeep as well as our earlier panelists, my co-panelists, I think there are a lot of good initiatives and good intentions in our schools. But all of it, I'm just playing the voice of reason and I don't want to be a doomsayer, but I don't think all of it adds up to a concerted focus on life skills. So if we have to look at ideal sort of intervention of life skills, I think we have to look at teachers. We have to have a good curriculum for life skills education. you can have life skills education as part and parcel of academic learning. So when I'm teaching maths, English, science, social sciences, and so on, I can build in the skills of critical thinking, problem solving, empathy, communication skills, decision making, agency, negotiation, conflict resolution, etc. Lots of things can be done, but it requires a very, very evolved, capable teacher to do that. The vast majority of our teachers, and I am a big ambassador of all teachers. My whole life work has been working with teachers. So I'm not in any way criticizing teachers. Teachers have never been given enough opportunities to develop their own life skills, leave alone impart life skills education effectively to their students, to their young people, whether they're grade 5 children, grade 6 children, or grade 9, 10, 11, 12 students. So I think if we as a country want to develop children's, our young people's capacity for living life successfully. If you remember, on Monday, I talked about that the whole focus of life skills has to be enabling children to navigate a range of life contexts with a sense of personal confidence, social conscience, and professional competence. Now, this is a huge deal, and it requires very, very capable adults, mainly we teachers. So ideally, I would hope that our teachers are capable of helping young people develop a certain kind of a muscle for attention. Because otherwise, we're doing a lot of little things. It's all a little in dribs and drabs. We're doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Sometimes it could be on empathy. It could be on hygiene. It could be on critical thinking. We need to have a very concerted, coherent approach. And for that, we have to have the capacity, as well as we have to develop in young people a clarity of being attentive, being engaged, because basic attention of children is important, whether the child is attentive from a maths or language class or a life skills class. Attention is important, because without a young person's attention, nothing can be learned. But that's just the entry point. More importantly, we have to be developing in young people capacity to reflect, capacity to make meaning. So whatever life skill you're learning, you have to be able to reflect and make meaning. And also our schools, particularly today in times of artificial intelligence, and increasingly we're going to be engulfed with artificial intelligence, we need to develop very, very deliberate, explicit, human-to-human socializing capabilities. Children, young people, teachers, and young people. So adult, child, young person to young person, they need to be able to socialize with each other. They need to be able to make eye contact and talk coherently and intelligently, like our young panelist here, Kashdeep, did. Because outside, the world is very, very complex. And unless we have that socializing capacity, we are not going to be equipping young people for all the other life skills that they need later on. Increasingly, people are talking, people on the chat was talking about financial literacy as an important life skill. Absolutely, financial literacy is important. ICT literacy, literacy is important. Now people are talking about literacy in artificial intelligence. Now, artificial intelligence literacy is different from using artificial intelligence to learn as a tool. Artificial intelligence literacy is about understanding what is this artificial intelligence, what is AI, how is it made, what are the risks, what are the benefits, what are the ethical issues about it, of using artificial intelligence. And it can't be just based on individual teachers and individual children's capacity to use artificial intelligence. We need to have norms, we need to have guidelines set by schools, by school boards, and of course departments of education. So it's a complex time that we are living in, particularly with AI. And I think we have to have far more conversations on AI in the context of life skills, because we don't want to dehumanize our schools or classrooms. Life skills are all about fostering and celebrating the human capabilities of young people. And AI is very likely just the opposite. So I'm just going to stop there. Over to you, Samine.
Yep, I think completely heartfelt words. Totally abide by them. Anybody else who would like to answer on this question? What is the one thing that you can change? Yes, Dr. Jatin.
Yeah.
Yes, please, go ahead.
Yeah, so after listening to everyone, yeah, it's quite interesting, especially Kashdeep. Kudos to you to really, that was a good delivery, absolutely. And after listening to the leaders and teachers, what I feel, yes, extending from what Miss Maya pointed, yes, teachers are the core. I believe in it, coming from the space of teacher education and engaging with teachers. At the same time, also engaging with schools. It's a very tough job. So we need to reimagine our roles, relationships, and responsibilities, each stakeholder. And again, extending from my previous question, it's about the collaboration. So we need to look at these partnerships. One cannot do it alone. Either teachers, the schools, the leaders, students, NGOs, none of them can do it alone. So these kind of partnerships have to be strengthened. They have to be empowered. The kind of vision, everyone should dream life skill as a culture and not as a subject, isolated subject. So this commitment, life skills are not new, but the commitment to the life skills has to be new now. So we need to really think of different roles, and especially India, very deep rooted in these kind of skills. It's not something new. So we need to really look at the local. It's very much rooted in the local context, and contextually how we are trying to bring those life skills rooted in the culture and the local and the local, rather than looking at life skills, importing and looking at this as alienism, something that is rooted in our own context. So yeah, this is what something I would like to say. So life skills is something that commitment, our commitment has to be new and reimagine our roles. Yeah. So that's what I would like to take as a strong step towards an ideal future, basically.
Thank you. Bindu Singh, would you like to comment? Okay, so I got Miss Sati over here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, when we are talking of life skills here, I'm talking to so many teachers over there. So this, from the school's point of view, there has to be a lot of appreciation, because in many parts it happens that teachers work very hard, and in a race for a school to move forward, higher, there's very little appreciation that is happening. That is the first life skill which must be delivered for the work the teacher is doing. And then it has to filter down as an appreciation, as an empathy to the level of students. Teacher need to have a connect. And for that, the highest level, the leader of the school or the management part, they need to have a connect with the teacher, make them feel valued, make them feel good, make them feel, totally competent, that they're doing a great job and they're delivering. And of course, hand holding wherever there is something missing or gap. So mentoring is a very important part again, and this should go hand in hand, because life skills, we are talking a lot about the things, but it's more difficult and there's a great challenge to implement them. So mentoring, it would be a very important part, and holding hands of teachers, appreciating whatever little work they're doing, because after all, they're also human beings. They also need to be appreciated well in what they're doing forward. And if they feel appreciated, I think they'll feel good about themselves and they'll want to move it forward and take it to the students and to the children. It's a huge challenging task for all of us. And I'm glad we are talking about it so openly today, and there's so many teachers. And I'm sure, I want to congratulate all the teachers on the other side. Wherever you are, you're doing a great job. But there's always some more work to be done, as they say. And there's always something more to learn every day, which we are learning up. So really, we should move forward and pick up these life skills. And if we don't have as teachers, we should not fight shy of trying to develop those life skills, improving our life skills, and understanding ourselves, self-awareness, so that we can, once we understand ourselves, we feel strong about ourselves, and then we can, guide the children in their path, because they're much younger, they have to be molded into great human beings. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Sati, you wanted to say something?
या जैसे कि मेरे सभी साथियों ने कहा बड़े अच्छे से कि हमें क्या हम चीज अपने स्कूल में चेंज कर सकते हैं। जैसे हमारे यहाँ पे बच्चे फर्स्ट जनरेशन लर्नर्स आते हैं, तो मोस्ट सबसे पहली जो जरूरत है वो माया जी भी ने भी कहा, गोमती जी ने भी और मिस सिंह ने भी बोला, कम्युनिकेशन, कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्डिंग। बच्चे को मैंने अगर वोकल बनाया है तो बस वही मेरा सबसे बड़ा उद्देश्य पूरा हो जाता है। तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि इस वाले क्षेत्र में हमें ज्यादा से ज्यादा काम करना चाहिए। और हाँ, ये टीचर्स को भी स्किल की ट्रेनिंग देनी पड़ेगी, यहाँ भी हम थोड़ा सा लैकिंग है हमारी। तो मैं ये चीज बदलना चाहूंगी कि बच्चों को लिए कम्युनिकेशन एंड कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्डिंग एंड सोशलाइजिंग, इंटरेक्शन, द सेम थिंग, ऑल आर द सेम थिंग। जब तक ये नहीं होगा तो मेरा बच्चा आगे आ ही नहीं पाएगा। जितने भी सारे और अदर एक्टिविटीज हैं, ग्रुप एक्टिविटीज हैं, प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं, रियल लाइफ स्टोरीज हैं, इसके अलावा और सब कुछ भी जो है, लैंग्वेज बैरियर्स हैं, सब कुछ तभी होगा जब बच्चा और टीचर दोनों में आपस में ट्रस्ट बिल्डिंग होगी, दोनों में आपस में कम्युनिकेशन होगा। तो मुझे लगता है कि सबसे ज्यादा काम मुझे उसी काम में, उसी वाले एरिया में करना चाहिए। वेरी गुड काशदीप बेटा, ऐसे ही बच्चों की जरूरत आज देश को है कि जो इस लाइफ स्किल को सीख के यहाँ तक पहुंच पाए। बच्चे बहुत अच्छा करते हैं, जरूरत है एक थोड़ा सा, बहुत थोड़ा सा उनको मोटिवेट करने का और गाइडेंस देने का। तो सभी लाइफ स्किल्स बहुत जरूरी है लाइफ में, बशर्ते कि टीचर और बच्चे दोनों के बीच में एक ट्रस्ट बिल्ड हो जाए, दोनों एक दूसरे का वेलकम के लिए तैयार हो। बच्चा अगर घर में बोलता है कि मुझे स्कूल जाना है, मुझे छुट्टी नहीं करनी, तो ये सबसे बड़ी अचीवमेंट है हमारे टीचर्स की। तो बहुत अच्छा लगा आज सबके साथ बैठ के। तो मुझे बस इतना ही कहना है कि बच्चों में कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्डिंग, कम्युनिकेशन इज द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग। उन्हें वोकल बनाइए।
Thank you, ma'am. So I'm just, because I know the time is running out, and we've had, I think we could continue this conversation for at least another couple of hours easily. I am so
Yes.
glued on that, you could have just taken this forward for a couple of hours, but I think now our TAP team is going to be like totally eyeing the time is up. Just wanted to sum up what everybody is saying. So from what I gathered, and if I've missed out anything, please do fill in. So the most, where do we start? We start that this is part of the curriculum. This has to be part of the curriculum. It has to be a conscious and a concerted effort, not bits and pieces, but a very, very conscious effort to inculcate life skills into our curriculum. We have to start with the teachers who are the core, who are where it all starts. So the teachers have to be capable, and for that, they will need the right kind of curriculum, they will need the right kind of training, they will need the right kind of hand-holding, and also appreciation once the work is done well. Once we talk about the students, we should be talking about grabbing their attention right at the entry level, and the capacity to reflect that has to be built. And capacity to reflect, I was just thinking, ma'am, if we're doing assessments, like regular assessments that have been done for ages, we don't inculcate that concept of getting a child to reflect on the kind of answers they've written. If they just do that, that in itself is building their skill, right? So it's already a part, it's always been a part of our curriculum. It's just that it has to be a more conscious effort now than it was before. And this, all these tools that are coming up, AI and IT and finance and all of that, have to become part of their everyday life skill and curriculum. And that's what we have been talking about. And peer learning, socializing, again, very important aspects of building in the life skills of the students that we are talking to and talking about. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for this discussion. If anybody wants to have any other closing remarks, otherwise I would end this session. Yeah, I'm going to hand over the mic to our the program lead for this event, and Devashri, over to you. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming in.